Let's just look at let's take a minute here. This is important. Take a minute here, and let's do a very quick outline on the buildup to World War I. Just to prove the point that there's these little skirmishes, if you will, that in and of themselves wouldn't make the history books necessarily, but when you add them all up, it just helps realign everything to get to the point where when something sparks it, boom, you got your explosion. Now, so World War I, everyone remembers from like 8th grade history class, started in 1914 with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Right? And you're like, huh, who's this guy? Why is this a thing? But there were 44 years of Ukraine's leading up to World War. Does that make sense? There were 44 years of skirmishes that led up to World War I. So let's just look at 6 of them real quick. You had the Franco-Prussian War, 1870. All right, so this led to an alliance between France and Russia. Right, so all these battles just kind of pushing people into their different alliances. 1908, Austria-Hungary annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina, which was under control of the Ottoman Empire. Right, so this is the beginning of the Ottoman Empire losing power. It's very important. Third thing, there were 2 battles in Morocco. I think they call it like the Morocco crisis for some reason. There were 2 of them. They were between the French and the Germans. One was in 1905, one was in 1911. And this caused the British and the French to align and pushed them closer together and pushed Germany further away. Right? So again, a little skirmish in Morocco causing countries to align and to push away. 1911 is the 4th point. 1911, you had Italy invading Libya. Okay, why is that important? That was taking even more power away from the Ottoman Empire. So the mighty Ottoman Empire, which has been in power for 600 years since the fall of the Byzantine Empire, they're starting to fail. Now Italy taking a little bit of their power. And then 1913, you had Serbia, Bulgaria, Montenegro, and Greece broke away from the Ottoman Empire. They formed an alliance together, again, taking more of the Ottoman Empire territories away from them. At this point, the Ottomans lost 83% of their European territory. So that was the first Balkan War, which then led to the second Balkan War because Bulgaria didn't think it got enough of the spoils from the first Balkan War. So now those countries are fighting each other. Okay? That was 1 year before World War I broke out. I would argue that the buildup of World War I started with the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, and it took 44 years before it finally kicked off into what we know as World War I. Let me throw one more your way. I said there were 6. I think the biggest kickstart to World War I was the Russian-Japanese War of 1904. Here's the very short of it. Russia wanted a warm water port on its eastern Asian coast, right? So they're looking to expand. Russia wants to expand. Japan's like, we don't want you to do that. So Japan struck first. They attacked Port Arthur, surprise attack. It was sort of like a Pearl Harbor against the Russian Empire in 1904. Very long story short, Japan dominated Russia, surprised everyone. So Japan now asserted themselves as a major player on the world stage, and Russia was super embarrassed, which caused them to focus less on their Asian front and to focus more on their European front. And it caused Russians to not want to back down in any future conflict that may arise. They didn't want to be perceived as weak again. World War I was 9 years later. So that is all a very super brief overview of 6 important moments in history that in and of themselves, you're like, okay, right? More like regional little scuffles like Morocco and Serbia and whatever, right? But all these skirmishes add up to a major war. In this case, a world war, the war to end all wars. Those were 6 Russia versus Ukraine-like skirmishes that all helped align things just the right way for a world war to begin. And my argument is that today we're in the midst of one of those. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. I'm starting to get very concerned about World War III and the steps that are, the alignments that are happening right now around the world. I don't care for it at all. So to learn more about where we're headed, you can download the First TV app, watch this special for free, also available on thefirsttv.com. We need to be aware of this. We need to be ahead of this. While the rest of the country is going to sleepwalk into World War III, we will not.